one thing that I really wanted to, ask you and especially highlight for the faking fam is like, okay, so you had this vision, right?
Hmm.
What I imagine there's like a kid who's like maybe a sophomore in their undergrad who's listening to this, right?
They just got glitter bombed in the
They
dorm.
just got glitter bombed. They're like, man, what am I going to do with my life, right? And what advice would you give that musician that is from a small town or knows of a small town, has tiny connections, and they want to start a project like this from scratch? What would you say needs to be their first 3 steps?
I'd say 2 steps that I tend to live by, just really oversimplifying for a second. The first step is dream the life. And you probably know where my second step is going. Second step is live the dream. So the first step, dream the life, is essentially, what do you envision? What do you want to do? And I think it's important when you do this to not filter yourself too quickly. So you don't need to justify to, Bobby Joe down the street who barely knows you, but you might think this idea is weird if you were to do it. Like that, this kind of irrational thinking, I think, comes into people's minds, and they don't even start to do something because they're like, there's not a lot of people who play checkers and like paint at the same time, and so I don't think I'm going to do that. But like maybe you do that really well, and maybe that's what you really want to do. And so like my thing, I feel it is important is to be unapologetic about what your interests are and to pursue them, and to allow yourself to go down that path. So yeah, dream the life, live the dream it's an action. So now that you've laid the groundwork, like you're saying, Drew, about where you want to go, like how do you get there? What are the steps that you want to do to get there? Some of it is very simple. It's just like, it's like a magnet point once you like dream the life, because then you just naturally start, even if you have a few side things, it kind of just brings you that place. It's it's funny. It's like you play a C major chord on a piano, right? And then you do a bunch of these crazy things and you're just making stuff up and you're all over the place. In your head, you just constantly want to go back to that C major chord. Like kind of like there's always something back in there, and somehow it might find your way back, or if you're really committed, if you really want to go to D major, you might have the tools to get there in the way that's like formally accepted in a theoretical sense. But also, who cares? Like if you just get there and you play a D major chord, like if that's your destination point, then you've made it. So I think for people, there's number one is also there's not technically a right or a wrong way to pursue something like this, especially if you're doing it for yourself and if it's kind of something that you're exploring. Like curiosity and exploration are really key to like moving forward. And I think sometimes people look for like the perfect manual of how to like accomplish something, but I think sometimes you lose that sense of like self-discovery that happens through this curiosity and discovery. And that actually goes to Feldenkrais real quick, which is like, it's so important to be like self-observant and then also to be like a child, right? Like there's a curiosity. So I'm not like judging the way I move my arm. I'm just like, okay, today I move my arm this way and this is how it feels. And like, if I release something here, like suddenly, okay, now I can do this. Like, it's all just kind of observation and curiosity. So I would say, feel free to write down your dream list, pursue it. Also, maybe if I had to throw in a third step, Drew, I think being able to connect with others, be personable, be friendly, and cherish your friends, and cherish those who you barely know. Also, it's not just because it's the right thing to do, but it also is. You learn so much about yourself and there's so much possibility, creative possibilities that come from the people you know. So I think sometimes people overlook that, or they go on this self mission of like, I'm going to accomplish this and I don't need anyone else around me to like make it happen. I got this. But it's good to lean on your friends. So those, I don't know, that's what came to mind.